Hey everybody, it's Brian Fleming from blownupguy.com, and I'm here today just to shoot you this quick, short video. As I travel and speak, a lot of people I find ask me questions, and they'll ask me for my advice. And, I really do take that seriously, and I do appreciate that. It's a great honor when somebody is willing to ask you for advice on something. And in today's video, I just want to address something that I've had a number of people ask me over the years, whether it's, something, we're on the phone or they see me talk somewhere or at a live event where I'm speaking or whatever the case. But one of the big questions I've gotten that a lot of people, I think all of us deal with, is how do we handle critics? When people talk about you, and maybe they're not the most qualified to talk about you, but they say things, what is the best way to deal with that? Well, I've learned that in getting along with people, dealing with people and getting along with them, sometimes it's kind of like a sport. You see, I got this idea because I'm right outside the tennis courts here, and it just kind of dawned on me, and I wanted to shoot you this quick video because getting along with people can often be like a sport. It can often be like a game. Sometimes it's a chess match. Other times it's more like a dance. And other times, honestly, it's more like a UFC cage fight. And I think I've been engaged in all of those at one point, but I've gotten so much better at this point, and I'm proud to say it. But, there are a number of reasons that people will criticize you. And, one of the reasons is maybe just they don't like you. For whatever reason, believe it or not, there are people in this world, no matter how hard you try, they will never like you for any reason. It's just the nature of how it is. It's unfortunate, but it is. I've had people come against me with what I do as an author and speaker, or with what I did in the military, or whatever the case. I mean, they have all these ideas about why I do what I do, or who I am, and it just, you wonder about sometimes where in the world they got these ideas. Another reason sometimes is that people simply get jealous of you or envious. And I know that sounds kind of harsh to say, but they do. It's just the cold-blooded truth. And sometimes they're jealous of maybe an opportunity that you've had, or something that you have, or somebody you know, or something that you've achieved. And I think we've all been to that point, at least to one extent or another in our lives. And if you have, here's my philosophy. If somebody knows something or has something that you want to know or have, or has accomplished something that you want to accomplish, don't get jealous. Just go ask them. I'll tell you, after studying, psychology and this subconscious, persuasion stuff, and basically the reasons why people act the way they act or do what they do, I've studied this to an extent. One thing that I've learned is that everybody loves to be asked their advice, and people love to talk about themselves. It's just the truth. To one extent or another, we all do. And if there's somebody out there who has accomplished something that you want to know, just ask them. Or if there's something, like I said, don't get jealous or envious of them. Just approach them respectfully and ask them. You would be shocked at some of the things that I've been able to accomplish, or connections or networks I've been able to establish because I simply asked. All right, and another reason people may criticize you is because they simply don't understand you. In fact, for example, I had a couple of years ago, one guy over a statement that I made that really wasn't that controversial. I had a guy write me on one of the social networking sites, I think it was Facebook, and he basically just began bashing me in a private message. And come to find out, the reason he did that is because he didn't understand what I had said. It was out of context. And I try not to be an overly confrontational person, I really can't really respond to everything anymore. But at that point I could. I simply wrote the guy back and I asked him for his phone number. And I said, "Bud, we need to talk." And the reason I was willing to do that is because he was actually another guy who had been combat wounded in Afghanistan. And that was a real red flag to me, because those are the people I love and care about. And it's been my life's mission ever since getting blown up and injured in Afghanistan myself and recovering 14 months at Brooke Army Medical Center after being hit by a suicide bomber and blown up twice. Those are the people who I've always wanted to reach. And if something turned them off, I wanted to know what the misunderstanding was. Where did we go wrong? And so I told him, I said, "What's your phone number?" I said, "Call me, or let me give you a call." We talked on the phone, and within only 2 or 3 minutes, I had established enough rapport with him and was respectful enough to him, and I explained what I said and in the context in which I said it and what I meant by it. To this day, him and I are good friends. He lives on the other side of the country. In fact, he called me about 2 or 3 days ago. And we actually do stuff now to help other veterans and other guys who are injured and other people who have gone through bad stuff in life. And so that was just one example of somebody who misunderstood me, and I actually called him on it. Now, I always tell people, give them the benefit of the doubt, and that's exactly what I did for this guy. Now, at the same time, kind of going back to what I said toward the beginning of this video, some people are trolls. And that's a term that I heard from Michael Hyatt recently when he spoke here in Frisco, Texas, near my home, at a CEO convention that I was attending. And in his book Platform, Michael Hyatt, who is he's the former CEO of Thomas Nelson Publishers, he basically said, some people, they're just trolls. And those are the people I'm talking about when I say they don't care what you do, how good you are, they're going to hate you for one reason or another. And that's just the way life is. I even tested this theory, and you can test it too. I Googled Mother Teresa, the nun who lived in Calcutta, fed the poor, gave her life to the poor, and the poorest of the poor regions of the earth. And believe it or not, there are people who hate Mother Teresa. I don't personally hate her. I think she was a great lady. I never knew her, but it seemed pretty incredible what she did. But it just goes to prove, it doesn't matter what you do. This whole thing's a big game. And if you just realize right now, not everyone's going to like you, and that there are some people that will like you and some that won't, and there's some things that you just can't do anything about, it makes life a lot easier. And this is kind of my final thought on this, and I want to say this. Why do people stab you in the back? That may be one of your big questions. Maybe you've had that recently in your life. Well, they do it for a number of reasons, but, when you're ahead of them, they have no other position from which they can attack you. Whenever someone takes a shot at you, take the high road. That's my advice. Take the high road. It's the best defense because they can't reach you. I hope you caught that. Again, I'll say this again. Why do some people stab you in the back? They do it for a number of reasons, and when you're ahead of them, they have no other position from which they can attack you. So they're going to get you in the back. Whenever someone takes a shot at you, take the high road. It's the best defense because they can't reach you. All right, now, this is just my take on it, and I'm pretty graceful with most people, and it's been very beneficial to me, and it's really a lot of good things have come from it. But I'd like to know your opinion also. What has been some of the best ways that you've been able to deal with critics? Or what are the most productive ways that you've been able to deal with criticism? I'd like to hear your point of view, and I'd like to hear your advice. So comment below and shoot me back your advice, and I'm glad to share my life with you. So I'm Brian Fleming from blownupguy.com, and I look forward to your response.